Parakesh Nochlin Dav Kuf Yud Ches, sponsored for a bracha v'atzlacha v'shomer ben Avram. The Gemara on the previous daf brought three different opinions who are the primary heirs, those leaving Egypt or those entering the land. The Gemara brings 6 questions from Rav Papa in support of the opinion those leaving Egypt were primary. La'ela techalei ka'aretz, benachala b'mispar shemos. This verse was spoken by Hashem to Moshe concerning those entering the land to divide according to their number. The pasuk after this states, "Larav tarbe nachalaso, v'lamad tamit nachalaso, ish lefi pikudav yutan nachalaso." The next verse states, "For the numerous one increase, for the fewer decrease its inheritance." First question of Rav Papa. The second verse is redundant according to the opinion the primary heirs were those entering the land. The previous verse stated, divide according to their number, unless it refers to a large family leaving Mitzrayim that despite their decrease entering the land are entitled to large portions. In addition, L'Rav Tarbe means increase the size of their portion based on their original size despite their later decrease in size. The Gemara does not suggest a refutation. Second question of Rav Papa. The daughters of Tzelofchad petitioned Moshe for their father's inheritance. According to the opinion those entering the land were primary, their father did not enter the land and had no right to an inheritance. The refutation. Even according to the opinion those entering are the primary, the portions of Chefer's surviving sons who did enter the land reverted to their father to bequeath to his sons posthumously. Had Tzelofchad been alive, he would have received a double portion of the redistribution. Since he did not have a son, his daughters inherit his double portion. Third question of Rav Papa. The tribe of Manasseh petitioned Yeshua for a greater portion of the land. Their numbers increased from the time of the Exodus, 20,500. If the primary heirs were those entering the land, why was it necessary for them to petition? The refutation. It is possible the primary heirs were those entering the land. Manasseh petitioned for those entering the land younger than 20 that did not inherit an individual portion. Abaye stated every person entering the land received the portion allotted him or through a deceased relative except for the 2 petitions recorded. Had there been other petitions, they would have been recorded as well. The refutation. There could have been other petitions not recorded because they were not granted. Manasseh's petition was recorded because of the advice given them by Yeshua to settle in forested areas to avoid an evil eye. They responded it was unnecessary. They were above an evil eye. This is learned from one of the 2 terms used by Yaakov in his blessing to Yosef. He was Ale Ayin, interpreted as Ole Ayin, above the eye, or V'yidgu Larov, a term meaning to multiply that resembles the word for fish that swarm unseen beneath the water. The Gemara proves that Yeshua and Kalev inherited the portions of the spies. The verse states, Chayu min anoshim hahen, they lived from these men. Another verse states they actually lived and did not die like the others. This verse means they lived in their portions. The fourth question of Rav Papa. If Yeshua and Kalev inherited the portions of complainers, then they would have inherited most of the land. The answer. The reference mislonanim is to Korach's followers. The Gemara reconciles 2 brises. One claims Yeshua and Kalev inherited the portions of Korach's followers, the other only those of the spies. The verse describing the petition of the daughters of Tzelofchad states, Avinu meis bamidbar v'hu lo haya besocha eda, referring to the spies. Hanoadim al Hashem, referring to Korach's followers. One brisa derives from this comparison to an inheritance. Just as Yeshua and Kalev inherited the spies, they inherited Korach's followers' inheritance. The others did not derive this. The fifth question of Rav Papa. A verse states, Vayiplu chevle Manasseh asara. According to Rav Papa, if those leaving Egypt were primary, 10 portions are accounted, 6 families plus 4 shares of Tzelofchad's daughters. their fathers, plus an additional as a firstborn, his share of Chefer's legacy, and a share of a childless brother, whereas if those entering are primary, they would be entitled only to 2 from what reverted to Chefer. The refutation. The opinion that holds that they entered the land were primary, hold Chefer had 2 sons that died after him childless, entitling them to 2 additional portions. If you're enjoying Daf and 5, please click on the link below, subscribe and become a sponsor. Have a good Tavach, Shavua Tov.